You do it without thinking. You walk up to a metal box on a street corner, hand it a piece of plastic, whisper a 4-digit secret, and it hands you cash. No questions. No ID. No human on the other side. Just a machine deciding, in under 10 seconds, whether it trusts you enough to open its vault. We call it an ATM. We use it all the time. And almost none of us have ever asked, what is actually happening inside that box? Because it's not a simple safe with a screen on top. It's a fortress of engineering performing a high-speed encrypted conversation with a bank server potentially thousands of miles away. All in the time it takes you to check your phone. And the grandfather of this machine? It didn't use plastic or microchips. It used radioactive paper. To understand what the machine does today, we need to understand why it was built. The year is 1967, and here's a problem so obvious in hindsight it seems almost absurd. Banks close on weekends, not early. Close, shut. If you needed cash on a Saturday and forgot to plan ahead on Friday, you were simply out of luck. Enter a Scottish man named John Shepherd Barron. The legend goes like this. He arrived at his bank one Saturday, minutes too late. Locked out. Later that evening, soaking in his bathtub and still fuming, his eyes landed on a vending machine, and a thought hit him that would change the world. If a machine can dispense a chocolate bar on demand, why can't it dispense cash? He pitched it to Barclays Bank. They said yes, and on June 27th, 1967, the world's first ATM switched on outside a Barclays branch in Enfield, North London. But here's where it gets genuinely weird. No plastic cards, no magnetic stripes, no microchips. Instead, the machine used special paper vouchers impregnated with carbon-14, a mildly radioactive isotope, so the machine could detect and verify them. The radiation was harmless, but still. The world's first ATM ran on radioactive cheques. Science fiction had become science fact. Shepherd Barron also needed a way for the machine to identify the rightful owner. His solution, a personal secret code. He originally wanted 6 digits, derived from his own army number. But before launching, he tested it on his wife, Caroline. She came back and said, I can only remember 4. He listened. 4 digits it was. And because that choice was baked into the very first ATM ever built, 4 digits became the global standard, replicated it across millions of machines in every country on Earth. All thanks to Caroline Shepherd Barron. Fast forward to today. An ATM is essentially 2 machines in one, a specialized computer on top, and a heavily engineered safe on the bottom. Let's start at the bottom. The vault. Money inside isn't just piled in randomly. It's loaded into modular metal containers called cassettes, and each cassette is dedicated to a single denomination. 20's here, 50's there, hundreds in another. That's how the machine gives you exactly what you asked for, without sorting through a mixed pile. When you request cash, a high-friction rubber roller called a picker peels 1 bill off the top of the stack. But here's the engineering challenge that keeps ATM designers up at night. What if 2 sticky bills get pulled together? If the machine pays out 2 bills instead of 1, the bank loses money. At scale, millions of transactions a day, that's catastrophic. The solution is a thickness sensor that measures every single bill to the micrometer. A dollar bill is about 0.1 millimeters thick. Anything significantly thicker? The machine knows it grabbed 2, diverts them into a reject bin, and tries again. That clicking, whirring sound before your cash appears? That's not the machine being slow. That's it measuring every note before it lets go. Once verified, the bills travel up a conveyor belt to the dispenser slot, waiting, fanned out neatly, for your hand. But the physical cash is only half the story. At the same moment those rollers are spinning, something invisible is happening. A digital conversation traveling thousands of miles in seconds. Here's how it works, step by step. Step 1. Reading your card. The ATM reads your EMV chip, or magnetic stripe, your account number. Notice what it's not reading. Your PIN. Your PIN isn't stored on the card. It lives only in your head in your bank's encrypted database. Step 2. Instant encryption. The moment you finish typing your PIN, it's encrypted right there inside the keypad, scrambled into a code that the ATM itself cannot read. Even if someone intercepted the machine's internal signals, they'd get complete gibberish. Step 3. The journey. That encrypted packet, your account number, your scrambled PIN, and your withdrawal amount fires out through the internet to a host processor. Think of it as a massive traffic controller that identifies your bank network and routes the request directly to your bank's main computer. Step 4. The decision. Your bank checks 2 things in milliseconds. Does the PIN match? And is the money there? If yes, it fires back a unique digital approval code through the same encrypted pathway. Step 5. The vault opens. Only when that approval code arrives does the ATM signal the motors in the vault below to start counting your cash. That entire round trip, from street corner to server and back, takes an average of 3 to 7 seconds. Verified, authenticated, trusted, in the time it takes to take a breath. From radioactive paper vouchers in 1960s, London to a global encrypted network handling millions of transactions a day, the ATM is one of the most quietly remarkable machines ever built. But what strikes me most is this. At its core, the ATM isn't really a machine of engineering. It's a machine of trust. You trust it to count your money correctly. The bank trusts it to identify you. The entire global financial system trusts that the encryption holds. And all of that trust was set in motion by a man who couldn't get to his money on a Saturday, and a woman who could only remember 4 digits. So the next time you hear that clicking, whirring sound, remember, you're not just waiting for money. You're listening to a micrometer sensor measuring paper and waiting for a digital handshake to return from across the world. All because a man in a bathtub once wanted a chocolate bar. That's it for this episode of Curiosity and Answers. If this made you look at that metal box a little differently, hit the like button. It helps more than you'd think. Subscribe for more deep dives into the everyday objects around us. And drop a comment below. What simple thing should we crack open next? I'll see you in the next one.